Hello everyone and welcome to the 10th entry in the Dev Diary series for Chromatic Void. We have a lot to go over today, so let's get started. First thing is, last week we talked about updating Void's character model and animations, and you can see that we have now begun importing those into the game to use in real time. So we have here the idle animation. Let's bring in that run. So the more dynamic and interesting poses that we've given him are working really well in the preview image, but let's go ahead and take a look at them in game. So already we can see that his silhouette is much more interesting. His character movements have a lot more definition. So that run looks way better. Looks like he's actually moving with a purpose. Check out that climbing, updated a little bit to be, a little more interesting. Same thing, sliding down. Instead of having just a reverse animation to slide, he actually slides down. One of the biggest changes is probably his dash animation, which now has a little bit of a spin to it. So I'll slow it down again. You can see that he's actually kind of rotating as he's moving, but I think it adds a really nice dynamic trait to that movement and in motion, and I actually really like the way that it transitions back into falling/movement animation. So I think that is probably a twist that we're going to end up keeping. So there we are, and now we're just kind of going over the demonstration of watching him in motion. This is why I think that we are, somewhat on the right track, because just kind of watching Void move around the stage now is very fluid and satisfying. And I'm very happy with how things are turning out at this juncture. So, good bit of progress made there. We've also updated the level geometry a little bit. You can see that the shrubs, the bushes in the background are a little more polygonal and kind of in line with the style. And we have some grass platforms to use as well as these stone. So, interesting couple of little updates to the level design of Neon Jungle. But speaking of Neon Jungle, let's go into a couple of other visual things that we have for you. So, our environment designer has been working on some ideas for what the interior of Lightning Leo's high-rise tower would be and how we can use that in some other interesting ways as far as level design. So, each level or each page here has 4 different tiers to it, so let's kind of go through what we've got. At the bottom, we have a bar, kind of very low-level club where they have stage for performing, tables, things of that nature that would just make for a really interesting entryway into the rest of the tower. Heading upstairs, you can see that there's kind of a, stadium seating with a rail, and you can look down from above, seeing the room in a different manner. Moving up from there, we have a kitchen environment leading into a dining area, and then the top level is the same idea. It has the kitchen, it has the dining area itself, which would make for, an interesting blend of comedic elements as well as platforming challenges. So, moving on from there, we have the upper levels that moves into sort of a spa/locker room and a workout area/gym private boxing ring, which there was an idea while we were discussing these concepts that there might actually be some sort of back alley Fight Club-esque arena inside Lightning Leo's tower, and I think that's a really cool idea. And I think what we're going to end up using that idea for is using that once you get to this boxing ring area, the level is essentially going to come to a pause, and you are going to have to fight your way through a few waves of enemies who are interacting with the scene in a fun way. And I think it'll be a really nice beat in the level to kind of give it some variety. Moving on from there, we enter this, top-level garden, once again exposed to the night sky, kind of moving through it in a different environment. I think would be a really cool idea. Moving into the greenhouses and then coming back out and using this fountain to essentially rocket your way all the way up to Leo's penthouse, thus finishing the level. So I think we've got a lot of interesting ideas here. I'm very excited to see how they're going to translate into actual level design and mechanics, but I think the ideas laying here are a really good foundation. So that brings me to the last update for the video, which is way back in update 3 or 4, we announced a collaboration with an artist known as Sardine Slayer, who was working on a demo track for this level, and that demo track is now available to be heard. If you would like to go listen to it, I will leave a link in the description. I think it embodies the idea of what we want the level to be very well. We are going to continue working with Sardine Slayer to refine and direct this track so that once it's in game, it's going to be absolutely killer. He is already killer. He is doing a good job, and I know that this thing is going to be great. So with that, we're pretty much going to wrap it up there, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. But before I go, let's go ahead and address the question of the week. The question this week is, what video game level is most memorable to you? Let us know in the comments below, and we will see you once again next week. Take care, everyone.